Hello, Planet Watchers. Welcome to Leo. Hi, Mary Jane.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Christy. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you. Leo is, of course, my home sign, and I'm excited about.
You're gonna love this time. I hope you have a good time.
Well, I hope so too. I've got a big, big birthday coming up. I'm not ready for.
It's not going to get easier, but
Uh,
it's only numbers. I figured this out a long time ago. It's only numbers.
yeah, it's only numbers, and I don't look those
And
numbers anyway.
yeah. I said, don't worry about these bumps in the road. It's really that. And I don't know, I have a kind of a sneaky personal feeling that it's getting better and better. So
Right.
we'll hope.
You certainly
It
make it
might be
look like
whistling in the
that.
dark meanwhile, but
What was that?
I said it might be whistling in the dark,
Ah,
but
well,
that's it's working for me. So what can I say? Well,
you certainly make it look good. I'll tell you that.
I'm having fun.
Now, this summer so far has been a bit of a train wreck and a dumpster fire. It sounds like it's not getting better anytime soon. Well, what can we look forward to in Leo?
Well, once again, our big newsmaker is Pluto, who has moved in these last few months, moved into his space in the beginning, very beginning of Aquarius. Now, where this becomes important, he's doing some good stuff in Aquarius in the background, but where this is important for us right now is because the sun and and his fast planets around him are coming just opposite Pluto. Now, when this happens, everything is we're required to make choices. We're required to change some things. This is fight or flight. It's that kind of
Mhm.
attitude when the sun is opposite Pluto. It can be deathly. It can require a great deal of transformation on all kinds of levels. We have to be extremely flexible. And I'm talking especially about, well, you and all of those people with birthdays in the first decade, that is to say, from the 22nd of July until the 3rd of August. Because this is the sun that's the most under the most fire from Pluto at present. Now, what's involved with this? There are physical risks involved that I don't want to necessarily dwell on, but I don't can't ignore them either.
Right.
Especially touching the heart, which is important for
Mm.
Leo,
Hmm.
and backs. One is subject to injuries, pain, other circulatory problems, and especially venous circulation, blood circulation, because this is important in the summer for in our hemisphere because of the heat factor. As soon as we're suffering, especially older people like me, are suffering from the heat, why this sets off all kinds of really nasty circulatory problems. And so it can be a kind of a dangerous time. You want to take very good care to avoid stress, avoid physical stress, especially, and getting overheated, overworked. This
Right.
is
And
important for all of Julios
drink
out
lots
there.
of water.
Drink lots of water, keep cool. I know it's a very nice time for sports and so on as well. Everybody's out there knocking themselves out, but this is not the time perhaps to go fixing the roof or running marathons. In my opinion, I think in certain climates this is a really stupid thing to do right now, and
Right.
you have to be in just awfully good condition to be able to act out sports at that level.
Right. Much better to go to kayaking, to go swimming, maybe
Yeah.
boarding, you know.
Yeah, keep cool. That's the important thing.
Hmm.
Now, especially in the States, for reasons of the placement of these planets, there it's a time when, especially you Leos, but a lot of us too, will be looking at dealings with death and dying, insurance policies, inheritance issues, also some very important and somewhat risky money matters on all levels. Uh, we're going to see perhaps a termination of a contract, or a work situation that comes to a screeching halt. some accidental in parentheses, accidental situations that we can't necessarily control, but that could leave some gaping holes in your budget for the next few months.
Ooh.
Anyway, so all of this to say, you'll want to be very careful if you're moving money around, if you're having to defend an inheritance, for instance, litigation at this time, dealing with outdoor money, outside money, inheritance, or also insurance policies are going to be a bit dicey these next few weeks.
Oof.
That's the first problem with this Pluto. The second problem is that at the same time he's making this opposition to the sun, he's also in a very comfortable aspect with the black moon Lilith and with Mars. Now, this is such a nice time to be making war that we're going to see an escalation in all kinds of conflicts. Uh, Also with the square going on between Uranus and Mercury that we'll talk about a little later. Uh, this is a very angry position taking time that people just won't be using for negotiation. Uh, I don't see anything good coming out of negotiations in these next 4 weeks. And in fact, we've seen a serious escalation just now with Israel's new bombing of a theoretical peaceful site, the refugee site. So, as Hamas pulls away, Israel keeps doing its thing, and nobody wants to just sit down and talk. And the same, I think, is true in the Ukraine and with Russia. So we're going to see with that at the same time, with the opposition of Uranus to Pallas Athena, we're going to see an escalation in war crimes. And this isn't going to help anybody in
No.
any kind of negotiating
No.
terms. We've got some particularly bad days that I want you to use carefully on a personal level. I'm looking at the 28th of July, the 30th and the 31st of July, the 14th of August, and the 18th, 19th August. Keep cool in whatever negotiations are going on in your life, whatever you're trying to accomplish on a work level, on a couple's level, on whatever level with your next door neighbors, whatever's going on. These are very sensitive times to be getting involved in any serious and positive discussions. Be careful out there.
Sure.
At the same time, however, I've got a lot of howevers on my script here, and there's a
Meanwhile,
nice
back to
however
it.
coming up right now.
Oh, okay, good. Please. The howevers are very helpful.
Yeah, however, however, is that the same Pluto is showing an excellent time for job change, also for renovation of your work site. If you're having to put in a new office material, this is a great time to be doing it. And this type of investment is extremely positive right now. You must, again, you first decant Leos, be very careful in the decisions that you're making and the choices you're making. But it's a very good time to be carrying through this kind of renovation. Very, very nice.
Good, good, good.
So Pluto, once again, we have to know how to use these planets, even when they're noisy and kind of angry all the time and making trouble. There are very good ways to use them, and this is why I'm here. So trying
Good.
to help.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. I mean, there are we feel these days, right? We notice there's days when things just don't go right. People are not understanding us. There that we're upset and angry and we don't really understand why. There are days when everything goes well and goes right and we feel like everything is golden. It's
That's the
important
way it goes.
to maximize our contacts.
Exactly.
Either the negative days, the bad days, the heavy days, or the good days, and just use that information accordingly.
Sure, sure. And again, personalize this information in incorporating it into your own
Yeah.
chart and into your own biorhythms. Now, I've never sat down and really studied how these these techniques work together, but I'm sure they do. It'll only make sense that we're on very fixed rhythms, and it's up to us to learn how to surf on the wave, instead of fighting the wall.
Right.
And that's kind of the way I see the timing aspect in astrology, among other things. So,
No, that is absolutely right. And I think it does, correspond with our biorhythms.
yeah.
Something else that I know is affecting a lot of people, and myself included, are all the solar flares we've been having. And I
Mm.
don't know if astrology addresses solar flares, but what do you know about that?
It has to be connected somehow. And I would say, just off the top of my head and from considering the source of our energies, that this period of Leo will be particularly important in this period. Why? Because we're subject to the sun. The sun is the ruler of this particular time of year. And whatever's going on with the sun, if it's receiving some bad aspects, difficult aspects, if on a purely physiological level, it's doing all sorts of strange things on its own surface. I think this is an important time that we're probably going to be feeling these effects. Certainly, astrologically speaking, we've got another movement going on. Uranus again, that is the
Mhm.
how to say, it's the anti-ruler of the sun. It's the ruler of the sign that's opposite Leo, and is important. Speaking of just pure electricity, this is Uranus, and this is what we're tied up to. And during this period, still until the 31st of August, we have a very nasty, uncomfortable square from Uranus to our communications expert, Mercury. Now, when this goes on, well, we've seen a ton of troubles with our local computers, technologies, all kinds of communications on all levels are being perturbed at present. And also, on a more psychological level, this is a time that we're going to be seeing strikes. I don't know if you're aware, or have you been aware of the workers' strike going on in Korea, in Samsung? So
No.
the whole communications industry there, computer industry,
Oh my
is, oh
gosh.
yeah, there were 100,000 people on the streets just last week, the end of last week.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to see a lot of these strikes. Well, France is famous for this.
Mhm.
The the train workers always go on strike in the summer when just when everyone's moving around on vacation. It's going to be really nasty this year with the Olympic Games there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
so that's typical. But in other countries that are not very subject to this kind of movement, we're still going to see strikes, workers coming into the streets. We've been waiting for this for a long time, haven't we? With Pluto in Aquarius, it's time for workers, for other groups that need protection, or think they need protection. They're going to the streets, and we're going to be seeing this definitely this month still.
Mm.
Now, where this becomes important for us, and once again, okay, we're going to see, and if you might be involved on your own levels in a strike situation, or having to defend your rights in the workplace. But I want you to be very careful too about double checking your travel plans, because this kind of interruption will touch upon roadworks. We're going to see airline and train delays. We're going to see serious accidents in infrastructures. I'm thinking of roads falling apart, earthquakes. Bridges are especially sensitive to this period and this type of accident. And okay, those are things we have to just look out from the outside, but from the inside, check the health of your vehicle, especially tire pressure. Why? Because of mercury, that has everything to do with air and collection of air. So this is a very important as far as just taking care of your car. This is your horse. This is your mode of communication and movement. So it's something we have to think about. Also, probably large animals with that in mind.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of a rough thing. I think this Uranus Mercury square is going to play out on a lot of levels, and just something that's not going away this month. So we're into it.
Right.
Here's a bit of good news, though. Here's
Please.
a bit of good news. Yes, there is some. Neptune is opposite to Juno and is in a very nice sextile, very nice cooperative aspect with Uranus. Now, this is going to, and this is going on again all month. This is a time of positive, I think, positive reflection
Mhm.
on questions also of renewal, on questions of marriage, of cohabitation, uh,
Mhm.
any other close partnerships. With the notion of Uranus, it's always a question of renewal or updating the rules. Maybe we want to just take care of some details in some of your very close relationships. And yeah, it's a nice time to be thinking about making some promises. I'm going to go out on the road with, well, out on the limb with another, however. I don't want you to sign anything because all month long, we've got Jupiter and Mars that are square to Saturn. And what happens? All your wonderful ideas of expansion, of doing something gloriously flashy and very romantic and brilliant, they're not the best right now. We
Mhm.
haven't thought things through carefully. They're so far very unrealistic and possibly illegal. You want to look carefully at your partners, first of all, make sure they're cool and single and whatever else that it takes to be in a healthy situation as far as making any promises together. You want to look at to study the details of any engagements extremely carefully. You also have to look for any need of permits, of authorization, of diplomas. Do you need a special permission to go out and do this project that you're holding quite dear? So it's important to look at the details before you go way overboard, as Jupiter will tend to do, especially with he's got a lot of Martian muscle behind him and is wanting to get things going, get things moving. But with a square to Saturn, they're not moving very fast. And that's probably a good thing. Go back and look at the details very, very carefully. Oh, and speaking of Jupiter and Saturn in a bad connection, in a bad aspect, orthopedic operations are not at all indicated this month, unless
Oh,
they're, yeah, yeah,
okay.
no kidding.
I spoke to
Unless
somebody
they're
at
just,
a physical fair this past weekend who's having an ortho. I should reach out to him and just
yes,
say, be careful when you're scheduling this.
yes, let's talk about some very, very difficult dates because this is important. The 24th already of July, the 31st of July, the 7th of August, the 14th of August, and the 20th, 21st of August. Very, very bad dates to be scheduling elective orthopedic surgery. Uh, if you're involved in an accident and you have to get pieced back together, well, that's
Right.
one thing,
That's
and you
something
keep your
different.
fingers crossed. But as long as you have some control over these dates, why try to avoid carefully those very bad lunar dates that aren't helping at all.
Right.
So that's our little problem with the Jupiter square Saturn. It's so I want to, but they won't let me, And it's this kind of lock-in that we're in kind of all month long.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to just be very careful about what you're wishing for and what you're working for.
Right. Well, I feel we always have to be kind of careful what we're wishing for, and we need to think 3 steps ahead sometimes
It,
of
it always helps
how can this, yeah, how
when
can
you
this show up?
can.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I want to maybe close on a note that's kind of, well, shiny, very, very bright. Venus is still in Leo
Mm,
until the 5th of August.
hmm
She's now Venus in Leo is beautiful, of course. Oh, excuse me. She's looking to have a good time. She wants to go out and play. Extremely flirtatious. Is going out for the best looking guys, is putting on her best looking clothes, and is being a general tramp. Well, no, that's not nice. She's being extremely flirtatious, however, and somewhat aggressive because she's lonely and a little bit desperate. This
mm.
time now, in until the 5th of August, Venus is, looking around, kind of doing her butterfly act, but she's not making any aspects with other planets for a long time. And this is extremely difficult because she can at the same time feel extremely expansive and very lonely. So there's a bit of frustration built in here. Finally, from the 27th to of July until the 5th of August, uh, Venus will be making a square to Uranus. Now, this does not help in the patience department. As soon as Venus gets involved in a Uranian situation, it's Carmen, It's I want you, and if you love me, be careful, and if I love you, that's even worse. It's extremely explosive situation.
And when is that?
That's well, from the 27th now until the 5th of August. Now, at the 5th of August, Venus herself will be changing signs. She's moving into Virgo, but she's still remaining in square to Uranus. So while she becomes a bit more sedate, let's say in Virgo, and may be paying a little more attention to what she's doing and saying, but she comes opposite to Saturn, that's in Pisces now, from the 14th to the 28th of August, and at the same time is square to Mars and to Jupiter. So she's going to be anyway taking a lot of chances, making a lot of not very judicious decisions. And this is going on until, well into the 24th of August at least. Will be square to Mars from the 10th to the 31st of August. So Venus square Mars is extremely uncomfortable as far as
Yeah.
dating relationships, man-woman relationships, romantic relationships of all kinds, because it's as though there's something to prove instead of something to just enjoy. There's something to prove, and
Yeah.
that's kind of blah. That's kind of uncomfortable. So all of this early boasting and seduction and very leonine kind of behavior can bring about ultimately some unhappy and even sort of disastrous results. So I'm saying, lucky in games, perhaps this might be a good time to go to the casino. Lucky in games, but unlucky in love. And this Venus doesn't look like she's setting herself up for a very happy uh, summer.
Well, this summer has been a bit of a disappointment, I have to say, all the way around. So it doesn't
Yeah,
mean it's getting better anytime soon, but at least we can maybe think that there's an end in sight and things are getting a little bit better. I
well,
do
right.
want to mention or ask about American politics. That's always something that's going to be forefront in my mind. Like, what is the
Yes.
forecast in Leo for what's going on in this dumpster fire that we call the United States, or at least
Okay.
the presidential election and the elections in general, right? America's beautiful and lovely, and I do love my country, I have to say. But the politics are a bit special.
The politics are completely, well, first of all, undemocratic. A lot of
Huh.
people say, well, you elect representatives to go elect your president. This isn't the way things are done in a democracy, which is kind of
This is
actually true.
true.
but that remains, and this is a thing that will never, I think, never ever be changeable in the States, unfortunately. There's something about a direct vote, especially now in the electronic age. This should be
Right.
something that's possible, but nobody seems to be willing to give up this electoral college and defending their boundaries and their interests, local interests, is
It just
not going to go
makes sense.
away.
No.
I kind of hate this period in an election, this year in any case, just because of the escalation of conflicts that we are seeing with this very angry and excitable Pluto and this angry and excitable Mars. They're just so unreasonable. Nobody is willing to give an inch. Nobody is willing to sit down and talk. This is going to be already working within each party in the States, as it turns out. It's proving to be true in France that uh, there's no room for decision making together for any kind of compromise to build something that's real. We're all going to keep our positions. In France, we're watching the government completely melt and they're having a terrible time trying to choose a prime minister because once again the left the more democratic side is made up of 13 different groupuscules, and the on the right as well, they're having to fight out because of some old fights between personalities once again. so so they're having a terrible time trying to find a new prime minister for this new parliament.
Right.
And the same thing seems to be shaping up in the States for this presidential election. I don't know. I just think this summer is going to be so long and so ugly
How can
as far as is this a reasonable choice? Nobody likes the candidates that exist for the right reasons in any case. And how do you draw up any kind of compromise when this is the case? Even an honest election is looking like it's going to be problematic. But we have to have faith in, well, maybe more faith than I have in the American
process?
voter and
Right.
his
Yeah.
clear conscience.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Well, to be continued and to be seen.
Yes, indeed, indeed. We'll know a little much more a little farther down the line. While I have you, Christy, when is the Democratic convention?
Oh, that is coming up. The Republican convention started
It is now,
today.
yeah.
Starts today. So
Uh-huh.
looking this up really quickly,
I know it's in August. I'm thinking the middle of August,
I'm thinking so.
but I
Uh,
can't remember.
August 19th through the 22nd.
Ugh, okay.
Oh, that's not good, huh?
Well, it's not wonderful, is it?
Not wonderful.
It's
No.
not wonderful.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the workings are already in place. This is just going to be showtime, and we'll just, I don't know, see what they can shake out.
right.
Uh,
Right. From what you said earlier, the 19th um is already not a great time, but this seems to be the end of that period. Hopefully
uh-huh.
the 22nd we get a little
Yeah, we'll hope by then somebody can pull together some good thoughts. Yeah,
right.
that will be the end of Pluto's brandishing of sabers and all the rest.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Well, the rest of the summer, we just, hold on, be safe, hunker down, be nice.
Hunker down, take care of your health,
Yeah.
especially you early Leos, and don't give in to pressure. You're pretty good about not giving in to pressure coming from the outside, I think. But meanwhile, the stress factor can be important, and the heat factor can be important in America anyway.
Yeah.
Here
Because
too.
when the temperature goes up, so do emotions and passions. So,
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And your blood pressure too.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So,
Okay, well, we will see you again in Virgo, your sign.
indeed,
And
indeed. I'll see if I can pull us together something a little more positive.
I know it's not all up to you, but you will
Oh,
hopefully
don't
highlight what's good.
don't shoot the messenger.
Fair enough. Okay, see you in Virgo.
Okay, goodbye. All.